Good afternoon. Welcome to the show. My name is Lee James. I'm a state representative, District 64 in the Great West. Includes Venango County and part of northern Butler County. We're here on a beautiful spring day in western Pennsylvania at the 2 Mile Run County Park. I have a couple guests with me today. We have the Lynn Cochran from the Franklin Area Chamber of Commerce, our executive director. And we also have the park ranger, Mr. Rich Mihalik. Rich, it's grand of you to have us down here today. We appreciate it very much. We're here to hear a little bit about the park and some of the highlights. This is an outstanding asset for Venango County folks.
Okay,
Take
welcome,
it away.
Lee. Nice meeting you, and Lynn,
Good
you
to
too.
see you.
Welcome to the park. We're down here basically in front of the beach house and beautiful Justice Lake. Our beach actually does not open until the second weekend in June, and it is run by the Oil City YMCA. They provide all the help for the lifeguards and the snack shack and boat rentals and all that kind of thing. The park itself, the Justice Lake, is a 144-acre lake. The park is approximately 2,695 acres total, and it runs just about in the center between about 7 miles north of Franklin and about 7 miles north of Oil City. So it's readily accessible. I think there are 7 different roads that access and can access the park. So we're looking to do a lot of new things here. We've been trying to upgrade all the different facilities we have, new roofs on the pavilions and so on. So welcome.
So can a parent bring his family down here or her family down here and do any swimming, or what do we do on the lake here?
Well, primarily the park is set up for families. Most of our activities are family oriented. Our park, our beach, as it opens, it is set up for the children. It is set up for the families to bring their children here.
Something that I love to do is we actually come out and kayak on the lake quite a bit. It's inland water, so it's much easier for beginner kayaks. And with that rage, we come out at full moon and kayak with our little lights on the front of our boats. And so really, I guess it's great. I come out all the time, and it's really such a diverse culture. It's kids, it's older, it's everybody.
You ever see any of the Franklin Chamber members out here?
Absolutely.
I would think so, yeah.
Well, you're absolutely right. The park is set up just about, has anything for anyone of any age.
Absolutely.
And then, as you mentioned, kayaking, I think in the last 2 to 3 years, kayaking has just really taken off. It used to be mostly canoeing, and now kayaks are the big rage out here. So,
do you rent canoes?
Yes, we have canoe rentals. We actually have rowboat rentals, and we are hoping to have kayaks back again this summer for rental. Also, we did have them up here last year. So
that'll be great.
They're
Do
big.
you still have the pedal bike that you go out on the water with?
Well, right down in the volleyball court area is where they are currently stored. Those are pedal boats. We have the big bike down there. And
you
those
want a good challenge. Take the rental bike out on the water.
Those pedal boats are, you come out here on a warm, hot summer day, and the kids have those pedal boats out in the lake all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, now tell me how you're able to afford to offer all this to the citizens.
Well, primarily the park, we generate revenues from pavilion rentals, campground rentals, farmhouse and cottage rentals. The beach itself charges X amount of dollars for folks to come into the beach and so on, which we get a percentage of. And then there's a certain amount of money that the county puts in via the taxpayer dollars. We also generate funds from, there's about 7 gas wells throughout the park. We actually have 12, but there's 7 generating revenue right now. And we also are, in certain areas of the park, we are select cutting some of the the aged timber, so that also generates revenue.
Good hardwoods, cherry oak, stuff like that?
Absolutely. The park is it's pretty full of all of that. So,
Have you been successful with a lot of expansion in the park through grants, through different agricultural or things like that to be able to?
Most of what we do is based on, especially the new things that we've been able to do. We have everything we do in a park now has to be ADA compliant, the American with Disabilities Act, and has to be handicap accessible. We were fortunate that the county and the Planning Commission had community block grant monies available for us to put in some of the sidewalks you see, some of the parking pads. We are doing that to the pavilion areas to make it even more, so the handicapped folks come out and enjoy themselves.
Absolutely.
Also. And we have an Adopt a Pavilion project that we do that allows individuals and businesses to, for a certain fee, adopt a pavilion, and all that money goes into maintaining the pavilions, and we're putting new metal roofs, as you can see on some of the newer ones here. So those types of things. And then the state, we've been able to apply for grants, like we're going to take a look at the new boat launch area through the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, and also the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission. So those types of things I'm always looking for. We have a local funding thing here called the Justice Trust Fund. That's one now with PNC Bank. We've been able to get some grants through them to replace worn out grills and do some other things in the park, new signage and things like that.
Now, as you think about your whole summer, what's it take work-wise to maintain this property?
To give you an idea, we mow about 330 acres.
Is that all?
And it takes about 43 man-hours a week just for the mowing. Mm-hmm. When you think about the amount of time, not only for the mowing, but the pavilions have to be, the trash continually emptied as they're rented out, the campground the same way, the restrooms have to be cleaned. Mm-hmm. And essentially, we have 3 full-time people in the off-season, and I have 6 full-time during the regular season. That's not a lot, but I got some really great folks up here working for us, and they get the job done.
And really a tremendous amount of the work, the hiking trails. I know we hike a lot out in the park itself, but a lot of that is done by volunteer committees and individuals that so enjoy the park, is it not?
We have our most active committee at the park is our trail committee. And that committee consists of volunteers, and those folks go out and really that's the ones that really keep the trails open, take the trees off, and keep the trails maintained. Over the last several years, we've been able to really get the trails all very well marked. And of course, we have the horseback riding trails. Yes. We have the mountain bike trails. The mountain biking is very big out here. We have people come from all over. Yes. We have just the general hiking trails, and then during the winter, the cross-country trails, which Valley Grove School District uses those cross-country trails for their meets. And then they have the big Rocky Grove Invitational out here that attracts well over 1,000 people every fall. So.
Great.
Anything out here for the Scouts, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts?
Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts come out a lot. They are always going after their different badges.
Sure.
So we allow them, there's one of the pavilions I'll show you folks up at the campground is called Big Rock. They basically camp up there. Sometimes they'll be camping down here. They help us with a lot of projects. They will rake all the leaves, pick up all the branches for us, go along the trails and get the branches off the trails, and they just do a tremendous job, and we really welcome those folks out here.
Well, one of their tenets is we leave a campsite nicer than we found it. And so it's good to have them on board.
Absolutely.
I'd love to go up and take a look at your nature lodge up here. Can we reconvene up the hill?
Absolutely, let's go.
All right, let's do her. Well, here we are at the nature lodge, Rick. As I look around the walls, there's a lot of deer heads, various paraphernalia from outdoors around here. I'm an Eagle Scout, so is my son, so I'm kind of used to seeing some of these animals in the wild, but would you like to kind of describe what goes on up here? I know this is like your home away from home.
Well, that describes it pretty well. Actually, the Nature Lodge is the park office, and our activities, everybody that comes up here camping and pavilion rentals and so on, everybody comes in here to register. So it's kind of the center of the activity for the park itself. Mm-hmm. A lot of what you see around the room, the various paintings were donated by like Dr. Carrion, and we have photography classes that run out here. Some of the carvings and so on are donated by some of the local folks. A lot of the animals were actually taken out of the park. The deer came quite a while ago, were shot in the park. The fish you see, the large fish in the back, the walleye and the big muskie back there, it's actually a tiger muskie, were actually taken right out of our lake here. So
now, is that a freshwater shark over there on the wall?
No, I don't think so. That looks more like a catfish.
Oh, okay. My mistake.
But the Nature Lodge centers, like I say, we have our meetings here, we have our advisory board meets here, our very active trail committee meets here. We do utilize the Nature Lodge for such things as birthday parties. We have, every month we have a full moon night hike. And coming up, actually tomorrow, we have an Easter egg hunt. It's a little after the fact, but we got a lot of kids and so on coming up. We'll actually have the eggs out on the trails of the park. So it serves it's a multifunctional facility, and we really enjoy the fact that we're here, and it's awful nice.
Okay, and this is open to the public 12 months a year?
It's open to the public 12 months a year. Generally, our upcoming season, the summer season, our busiest time. However, during the winter time, we do feature cross-country skiing, snowshoeing. We do have sponsored some snowmobile rides and things like that during the winter months.
Okay, well, this is a tremendous asset for the folks in Venango County and really all of western Pennsylvania.
Absolutely.
Where are we going to next? There's a pretty nice lake down here, Justice Lake. You have a new boat launch?
Yes, one of the things that the lake itself, Justice Lake, runs from just about very shallow all the way down to a depth of about 65 feet, and only the Fish Commission essentially is in charge of the lake. There are only electric motors allowed on the lake. And one of the biggest complaints from our folks that fish out here and boat out here is the fact that getting from one end to the other on a battery operated motor is not the easiest thing. So what we've done is we've applied to the DCNR and also the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission for grants to put in a new boat launch down here, and I'd like to take you folks down and show you that.
Okay, and don't forget the paddles.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's head on down.
All right.
Well, we're down here by the boat ramp now. When we started the interview today, it was about 70 degrees. The temperatures dropped to around 40. And
we're loving it.
And some of us are shivering. But anyway, when Rich told me about the boat ramp, I was kind of thinking about something where the Queen Mary would dock. We're down here. I think we got a little work to do. Rich, you want to tell us about it?
Okay, what we're in the process of doing, we just removed obviously some of the trees and that. This used to be an old road before the lake was actually here. And the idea is to put the boat launch itself, the boat ramp, right down where you see the water. And then we're also going to have, this blacktop road will be extended right down there, and then they'll build a pad right into the water. There's also going to be a handicap accessible path going down, and we're going to have a handicap accessible boating and fishing dock just down below down here. We have parking there'll be parking facilities putting up here, and then a parking lot on top is where we're going to have once the guys go down, launch their boat and go back up, they'll be parking their trailers and vehicles up on top of the hill. So most of the money for this, all of it, came from the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources and the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission.
When does the project actually start, Rick?
We are going out for a second bid. We have had to modify the actual design and so on a little bit. So within the next couple of weeks, we're going to go back out for bid, and we hope to get the project started in June.
Do you think that with the time frame and everything, will people actually be able to access the boat ramp this year, or will it be early 2014?
I would say if we can get it done by late summer, early fall, they'd still be able to utilize it this year, but probably by the time everything is set and ready to go, it'll probably be next spring of 2014. The thing that I mentioned earlier, we have you're only allowed to use electric motors on the lake, and a lot of the guys that fish here, one of the biggest complaints is the fact they can't get from that far boat launch all the way down and back on the battery power. So this was the idea. This is actually the deeper waters down here. It ranges anywhere from about 25 to 65 feet down here. You have huge walleye and huge muskie in this lake, and huge bass. DEP came down, and then the Fish Commission came down, and they actually did live trapping, and it showed some of the fish that are in this lake, and it's incredible.
For the guy who forgets to set his parking brake here, about how deep is that water right off the edge of the
right off the edge, it's only, that's probably 5-6 feet deep.
Oh, okay, so cable, you can drag them right back
Absolutely.
You'll save your truck, Lee.
That's good, that's good. Okay.
All right, so
well,
we hope to get everything
I'd like to see
going.
one of your campsites now, if that's
Well, let's
that on the tour.
Let's head up to the campground and we'll show you what we got going on up there.
All right, let's do it. Okay, we're here at the campsite now after about, roughly a day of trekking straight uphill. Thanks to our guide Rich, we were able to find our way here to the campsites at the 2 Mile Run County Park. And this is a lot nicer than the campsites I remember when I was a teenager. Tell me a little bit about it, will you, Rich?
Okay, well, this is known as our family campground. We have 72 sites throughout the campground, and they range from your basic primitive tent camping all the way through to your full hookup sites, which a lot of folks come in with the big campers. They come in with the motorhomes, and it's just amazing to see some of the homes that do come in. Guys setting up their satellite dishes the first thing they get here. But most of the time, the campground throughout the season, especially on the holidays, it's completely. Every site is occupied. During the week, we have people, of course, here. And then on the general weekends, we'll probably get anywhere from 40 to 50% occupancy here. As you saw when we came in, we have showers and a restroom. We have 2 different playgrounds, a toddler playground and the one you see in our background here for the kids. And this particular playground here was made possible through the former Senator Mary Jo White. So the campsites themselves, we do have sites along the lake. The folks that like to walk down and go fishing, we have 3 sites down over the hill that are backpack in or you can boat in that actually have docks. And folks, those are taken just about every single week. And we have, as I mentioned, behind me right here, we have the full hookup sites. And we have electric sites, and we have the sites over on the far end, a little bit more in the woods. Now, directly behind us, you'll notice a white fence, and we actually have one of our horse trails that run through the campground. And it's kind of out of the way. It keeps, the kids enjoy seeing the horses and stuff, but we keep them separated, of course, from the families up here. But we have a perimeter trail that runs about 10.3 miles around the entire park.
So Lynn, what do you bring here when you come camping?
My tent, a campfire, and pretty much the s'mores.
Ah, the s'mores. Girl Scouts.
Yeah, the people that come up here, for the most part, you can reserve the full hookup sites and the sites with the docks. Everything else is first come, first serve. We ask that folks come into the campground, so go ahead and set up their tent or their camper, and then come down to our Nature Lodge office and register. Then we actually have a camp host who is here year-round, or during the season, from about, we open up the weekend before Memorial Day to test out all our facilities up here, and then our official opening is Memorial Day weekend. And our camp host is here that goes around, checks campsites out, makes sure everybody's got their little tags on their posts and so on. And, it works out very well. And we have our maintenance people come around, make sure the garbage is taken care of, the restrooms are kept clean, that type of thing.
If I wanted to come up here 4th of July and holiday with my family, should I have called last year for a reservation, or can I still get on board?
If you were going to come up here 4th of July weekend with your family and you wanted a full hookup site, you'd be out of luck. Most of the folks you can reserve a year in advance, and they do reserve, especially on holiday weekends. But during the normal other times, generally you can get a site up here. And as I mentioned, most of the sites that you're looking around at, these are first come, first serve. So I would say 4th of July weekend, you need to get up here early in the day.
Okay, makes sense to me. We got a farmhouse here?
We actually have 2 rental units. We have a farmhouse that was built in 1929 and a cottage that was built in 1950. And we're going to go take a look at one of those units now.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, let's do it. Our intrepid guide, Rich, has brought us now to what is known as the farmhouse. Now remember, this is a nature preserve. This is 2 Mile Run County Park, where you're supposed to come and camp. The neat thing about this facility is, and there are some of you out here, and you know who you are, you won't come to a tent, but a situation like this could be camping for you. I'm going to ask Rich to tell us a little bit about the farmhouse.
Okay, the farmhouse is we actually have two rental units, the farmhouse and the cottage. The farmhouse was built by the Spear family in 1929, so it's been around a long time. And the cottage was built by the father and two brothers from the family in 1950, and it's just down the road from here. Farmhouse basically is your home away from home. That's why a lot of folks come here. It sleeps up to 10 people. And we try to have all the modern conveniences of home, including the various things in the kitchen, the bathroom, the shower. We just have kind of a gas-powered fireplace. By the way, our gas here is provided free of charge via one of our gas wells in the park. And it provides the gas for this facility and also for the cottage. And the Spear family, a couple of years ago, they went back through all their old photograph albums, and they basically laid out a history from the building of the farmhouse all the way through to today. And it shows the folks that were here, some of the old automobiles, that type of thing. So it's kind of really neat to be here. And it gives people a feeling that even though it's kind of a home away from home, but it is got that old feel touch to it, and it's very
You
unique.
rent this by the week, the month, the day?
Generally, we rent this. You can rent it by the day, but generally we rent it by the weekend, usually Friday and Saturday night, and then we have the weekly rates also. A lot of guys come out during deer season. We have this is booked a year in advance for deer season, and so is the cottage. So
You're going to stay here, Rich, in the farmhouse. What do you have to bring of your own, or do you supply everything that you would need?
Everything is here except the food. We have the sheets for the beds, the towels, the washcloths. These types of things are all available. Pillows, everything else. Folks just if they want any extras. Some folks bring sleeping bags for their kids, to sleep wherever. But essentially, we have the bedrooms are all upstairs, and like I said, we sleep up to 10. And the couch in the other room in there, it folds out. It's a complete bed too. But everything is basically here. You just need the people to buy the food.
How many people can be accommodated in the cottage that's just down the road here?
The cottage sleeps up to 5. Okay, and again, it's the same kind of thing. Although we had to modify the cottage, it is handicap accessible.
Okay, so one of your two.
Had to be in it. And you can get a wheelchair. We built a ramp that it goes in, and then the downstairs bathroom, and all the kitchen and everything in there. The countertop had to be handicap accessible and ADA compliant. So
that's great.
It's all set up
Now,
for that.
for you to be able to do that, did you actually receive funding to be able to make the whole other cottage handicapped accessible, or how did you make that happen?
Okay, the county planning commission had community block grant funds. So what we were able to do is we are what is called handicap removable removing the barriers to handicap accessibility.
Yes.
And that's how we were able to use the community block grant funds to get those things done, and several of like the parking ramps and so on that you saw down at the Nature Lodge area.
Oh, that's great.
Okay.
Really nice.
So as I mentioned, the stairs go up to the bedrooms. Everything is up there. We have the, like I said, the main. There's a master bedroom and then several smaller bedrooms. And then we come back into the kitchen. And essentially, the kitchen's set up. You've got your stove, your microwave, your coffee maker. You got a washer. You got a dryer. And there's vacuum cleaners, the whole 9 yards. We ask people, as much as probably have rules and regulations, of course, and we ask people to leave it the way they found it. And a lot of folks help us out by starting the laundry and doing things, and then either folks in the park, or I have some people who volunteer to come out and they actually get everything cleaned up for the next group to come in.
Great.
So it's a great facility. Most of the folks that come here are from out of state. We get a lot of folks that come in here, and the whole name of the game is they spend money in Oil City, they spend money in Franklin. They ask us what events are going on. That's where we have the brochures and everything out here. And they always ask us what's the best restaurants to utilize. So, I mean, it's the name of the game is getting folks in the area, and that keeps everything going economy-wise.
Now, is this our last stop, or do we have one more to go?
We have one more stop we're going to finish up, and it's called the boat launch.
Okay, another boat launch.
Are we
Let's
ready?
do it. We're out of here. We're here at the end of the tour, down by this beautiful lake by anyone's definition. Plenty of bird life, plenty of fish life. Going to ask Rich to make one more comment or two about some of the boats that you see here and some of the other features of the lake. Rich?
Well, here we are. We're at the boat launch, and as I mentioned, we're going to build that new one down there so folks can actually access the deeper end of the lake more with the electric boat motors. But as we look around the area here, you see the boats here, and these are actually owned by private citizens, and we do permit folks for a fee, of course, they can come up here and mow their boats. Some folks bring them up here all year round, some folks just during the season from about April through October. But as we look around a little bit, over across the lake, we have what is called the old handicap fishing pier. It's just called the fishing pier now. Although it is handicap accessible, the problem there is the water's gotten so shallow, due to some everything that's washing into the lake that it's okay for bluegills and stuff, but most of your trout fishing and everything else is on this end of the lake. And we are, there's an area down below here, we're putting a new dock in, we're putting some new ramps in for folks for more access. The Fish Commission, actually, as I mentioned before, they're the ones that operate the lake. They check the licenses, they check the boat licenses for us. Folks come out here, you see a lot of kayaking, we have a lot of scouting groups, and they bring their own canoe sets and things like that. And it's just a very, very enjoyable place to come and spend the day.
Well, somewhere along the line, somebody mentioned something about volunteerism. So I wanted to give each of you a chance, Lynn, you first, for folks who want to come out here and help continue to beautify this area. Who can they contact?
Well, for beautification and volunteering at the park, I'll let Rich do that part. But one thing I would like to express as the director of the Franklin Area Chamber of Commerce is today we spent some time at 2 Mile Run County Park, and this is just the tip of the natural resources that we have within the region for utilization of not only our residents but the visitors who come here. And hopefully they'll keep coming back. So if you need more information about the region as a whole, please visit www.franklinAreaChamber.org.
Excellent. Rich?
Anyone interested in volunteering, we're always looking for volunteers to help us come out here. We have folks that come out and just literally pick up litter, or we have folks come out and help us with cleaning up the trails and so on. You can call our office at 814-676-6116. And please visit our website. All the information about the park and the activities and everything and all our events and everything are on the website. It is www.2milerun.net. One other thing I would just like to briefly mention is we have Eagle Scouts that come up here and do project for us. Oh, yeah. And we have a kind of a plastic tube you see over here. And that is actually a tube that was specifically designed to dispose of old fishing line and stuff. So it's not laying around and getting the birds getting caught up in it. So those are at every one of our fishing access areas, and we really appreciate the fact that the Eagle Scouts come up here and do those type of things for us.
Well, thank you both very much. It's been a great afternoon. This is Lee James, State Representative, District 64. Thanks, Rich. Thanks, Lynn. Great day.
Absolutely.
Good to see you, sir.
Yeah. Thanks very much. See you next time.